people say there was a coup, an attempt of coup, and they want to put the attempt of coup figure in the prison. There's all kinds of chaos going on in the South Korean destiny, and they are the neighboring country of North Korea, and it appears that North Korea has war ambitions. In these podcasts I spoke about how they want to co-invade with Russia, the United States, how they want to co-invade France, and that they're even thinking about invading Britain. It is knowledge that is already published that North Korea has, shall we call this imperial ambitions? I don't know how you can call this, but if you go around the world like that, I think that's called imperial ambitions. It can be up for debate, whatever you want to call that. But they seem to be very aggressive, and these South Koreans are like, this is around the corner, If the North Koreans think about threatening these bigger nations, and then you're South Korea, and that's around the corner, I would be concerned, I would be concerned if I would be South Korea, and I would not be fighting in a government with other government officials, because there is an aggressor around the corner, and So, the whole South Korea subject, anyone in the world with political intelligence can see that appears to be a ticking time bomb, just like Taiwan. Alright? So it came to my intelligence that the North Korea, Kim Jong-un, has ordered one of his generals to assassinate Donald J. Trump. It came to my intelligence that the North Korean leadership put bounties on the head of Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't know, it's maybe Asian culture, maybe there's an insult, or, maybe the North Koreans have been insulted by the Americans, but I don't think that's the reality. I think maybe the Americans are mingling with South Korea. I think that's more reasonable. It's still a speculative thought. So at the whole equation, and I went knock on the door of South Korea and went like, okay, let me do prophetic and military foresight to the South Korean destiny. And I take 30% of the karmic velocity, ladies and gentlemen, difficult words. Let me explain that for the South Koreans. Hello, you're in a destiny, everyone has one. And this destiny is your birthright, and your birthright is plagued by 4 types of curses. Real curses, familiar spirits, dead bodies, and rivals, called rival curse. So you're walking around doing your thing, and all of a sudden, this bad luck show up. Misfortune manifests in 4 ways. So if you want to have a misfortunate life, the calm, if you want to live in peace, you need to be blessed in such a way that all these curses are purified. People call that karmic purification. Right? No negative energy, only positive energy, and you're fortunate. The people want to have a fortunate life, so I give the advice. Purify the karma, and the curse will leave. But when people, hello South Koreans and everyone out there in the world, when people go like there is no God, and there is no karma, and there is no judgment, and God is love, and there is no punishment, blah, 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 blah. People talk about the light, but they don't want to talk about the darkness. They don't understand the coin has 2 sides. They want to have a God that blesses, but not a God that curses. That's a bullshit. Let me tell you that. I know it's not the proper etiquette of addressing officials and whoever's listening to me, but that's plain old fucking bullshit. Okay? So when criminals run around in your societies, you want to punish them. And why is that? It's because you want to protect those who are not criminals. So why would God not do that? It's really that simple. Why would God not protect the normal ones from the criminals and punish sinners? I know it's, for so many people, this aspect of Christianity and Bible and heaven is just, they just can't digest that God punishes evil people. Okay, so enough on that. I don't want to go on a rant on the emotionally immature that just want to have a fairy tale God, a God that is like a teddy bear that cuddles them. No, God is not a teddy bear, okay? So if your spiritual enlightenment is so low, and coincidentally the world's spiritual enlightenment is really that low, okay? So God punishes bad guys. So when you're a bad guy, of course you're going to say you're not a bad guy, right? So, because you feel entitled to whatever you're doing. You've been born this way, blah, 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 blah. You're rich, blah, 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 blah. You're beautiful, blah, blah, blah. So everyone else just need to do what you want them to do. You don't want to hear about civility and human rights and stuff. So people commit all these crimes and say they have no crimes because they have power and birthright. This is called generational blessings. So your granddad built a company and you inherit it for no other reason that you're the son of the granddad, right? That's how that goes. You can abuse that power, and when you do that, you get cursed. You make the wrong choice. Boom. Dark energy taints your soul. Too much dark energy in your soul, which is familiar spirit, is pop culture. All of a sudden, poof, cursed. All right? It's really that bad. And then you're waking up in the morning and you go like, I feel like this is my destiny, and nothing happens for you. You're walking around trying to get this done, not happening for you. It's just not happening for you. Red card. Bye. Right? So many people do not understand that this is happening to you. Humanity is rotting. Humanity is descending into chaos because God is saying, bye, no more sin. Okay. So humanity can live in sin and say there is no sin, but the whole God waving to the humans, bye. That's what's happening. And everywhere's war. And everywhere's trouble. And everywhere's chaos, right? So people that are very emotionally immature, like humanity today, need to first see before they believe. So you are going to see before you believe, okay? That's God's business. It's not my business. I just narrate the whole thing as prophet of God, all right? So you see that in South Korea, there's trouble. There is trouble, a whole bunch of trouble. So I went knock, knock. And the karma, the generational karma, 30%. So your ancestors have built South Korea and they got blessings from heaven. And your destinical mind carries those blessings, create a hierarchy in South Korea. So it has power. The mind of your destiny is summoning the power of your ancestral generational line. Right? So it's like an engine, karmic velocity. And I'm using that right now to address you, the power of South Korea. And I keep 30% of that. And when you do you, South Korea, which you have the divine right to do, if you keep sinning and keep climbing, whatever you're doing over there, I'm not saying you're a sinner. I'm not saying you're a criminal. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is these troubles upon your country, there's a reason. Probably it's crime and sin. That's a little bit difficult to understand. I'm not trying to violate anyone's dignity or calling out names or trying to make you feel like a bad person. None of that. All right? So, bad luck and good luck, and a lot of bad luck is falling upon South Korea. And in the earlier podcast, I talk about how do you purify this bad karma. So if you're interested in changing the timeline, South Korea, do you hear me? In every single episode, I talk about the future of a country by using the power of that country, the karmic velocity, and the jurisdiction to declassify of that country. And I talk about the future of that country. So the future can be changed by your deeds. So if South Korea wants to evade what I'm about to say, and go to the other podcasts and listen a little bit to the counseling I give these nations. All right? Because I'm not going to do that again because I've done it like 22 times. All right? I'm going to give you the future of your country now. So it looks like a lot of you are going to become cursed in South Korea. It really looks bad. So it's really weird, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually like I feel like I'm getting God's word. It's really weird because it's when I'm scanning these nations, South Koreans, I don't get much spiritual something dynamics. None of that. Nothing. I just see the future and I speak the future, but I don't get an explanation from the Spirit of God. So I got an explanation. In South Korea appears to be an understanding of Christian religion, and many people in South Korea turned to false gods, and they became woke. So there are people in South Korea, assuming that you all know what Christianity is, because that's what I'm just experiencing here. People went with false gods and they became woke, like, America, trends and all kind of really weird, this weird stuff that the Westerners are doing. A lot of people in South Korea are doing that. And this is going to get great amounts of people cursed. So at this moment of time, South Korea is not yet cursed, but it's coming. So the moment these wokos, the woki, woko loco, these really crazy woke people and the false god worshippers, the idolaters, what it's called, once God's curse come upon them, yes, North Korean tanks will enter South Korea with the intent to annex Seoul. And the moment they did this, the South Koreans started to resist. You people over there in South Korea, you saw this in the future, I saw it. And you tried to stop this, but the North Koreans started threatening you with nukes. So this is pretty much like a terror, all of a sudden the tanks enter your country and you're trying to defend yourself and then Kim Jong-un starts screaming, continue, I will nuke you. Alright? So I got the information and it goes like this. North Korea is arch rival and the poverty of North Korea and the South Korean prosperity makes the North feel the lower brother. And the annexing of Seoul will repair the wounded pride. So I'm looking at the conflict with military foresight and political foresight, prophetic foresight, what it's called. Like, why is this happening? Well, South Korea, it appears like you're triggering in the North a minority complex. North Korea, South Korea, it's a big brother, small brother. So North Korea starts feeling like small brother and doesn't feel nice to them. So they're like, okay, let us teach the South Koreans who's the big brother. So is that kind of fight, it appears to me. This is the kind of fight you're entangled in. I think it's called arch rivalry. Alright? So North Korea wants to extract money out of South Koreans. Like how mafia taxes those under their protection. And this protection is usually unrequested. So on a deeper level, North Korea feels entitled to tax right over entire Korea. So you gotta imagine the mind of Kim Jong-un sitting there going like, oh, these South Koreans are pretty rich, so let's turn them in a province and tax them, and that's how he will get rich. Like, brilliant, isn't that? How you doing over there in Korea land? So you got crazy minds and you got really crazy minds, and I'm not intending to hurt the sensitivities or insult anyone, but the script that I'm reading here looks like a stereotypical vain figure that's like, okay, how do we get money? Okay, let's invade over there and tax them. Okay, boom, tax. Okay, good. That's South Korea, we're North Korea, one Korea, come, pay taxes. Problem solved. It's like, this looks like super vanity in the brain of Kim Jong-un, alright? So, more information, the 4B movement is a sign that South Korean men lost honor. So I'm going to give a little bit more information about that. So every man has honor, and the honor of the family is what that's called. So here in the West, it's a little bit difficult to talk about honor of family because people, A, don't have family honor, and B, they don't understand honor. And the Western society is not really revolving around honor. It's more revolving around getting rich and powerful and famous. Honor is not a matter here in the West, so I don't talk about honor in other episodes. So maybe the ones that are listening to the episodes frequently might get some information about honor, because here in the West that's not addressed. So in South Korea, the subject of honor should be understood. So you as a man have a woman, which is your destinical woman, the woman that you have been born for. So a man gets born for something and a woman gets born for something. And usually when that something is big, then the man and the woman come together, and then the woman is the honor of the man. So the man's honor is mirrored in his woman. If you talk like that here in the West, they're going to look at you really weird. But this is honor. The king take a wife, the wife become a queen. She's not a queen. She became the queen because of the man's honor. So that's using political science. If I don't use a political science, here in the West, you get demonized if you talk like this. But this is how it works. So the honor of a man will fall upon a woman which is qualified. So the moment women go like, we don't want to be your honor, then the honor of man becomes distasteful. Then there is no honor in the man. Then the destiny of the man cannot generate the professional life, the private life, the romantical life. You know what I mean? It cannot generate. When the North Korean man cannot generate the South Korean man cannot generate the South Korean woman, when the blessing of God doesn't fall upon it, and it's rejecting, when a woman starts rejecting, when the destiny is rejected, it's a sign of a cursing. The 4B movement is a sign that South Korean men are losing their honor. Family honor is being lost. So many women in the West look at that and go like, hey, we should do that too. Yes, in the West, men are also losing their honor. For example, 1 in 10 young women of America, 24 and between 18 and 24, is subscribed to OnlyFans doing prostitution. So 1 in 10 men of the next generation, well, in my eyes, the next generation, the new generation, 1 in 10 men of America has no more honor, lost honor. So not every nation, the honor is lost in the same speed. And this perception on honor is not mastered by nations, whereby there's nobody overseeing this process on the earth of how men are losing their honor, right? But all over the earth, women are getting more against the patriarchy is what they do in the West. They're more against male supremacy, and they're against these traditional, right? So this is a plague upon all the world. But in South Korea, it's really heavy. In South Korea, the men are depleting of honor so fast that the women of the West are starting to glow when they see that, because that's their wet dream. Oh, I don't know if women have wet dreams, but that's not the point. I'm trying to make a joke, okay? Just that you understand that, because it's pretty dramatic information, okay? So yes, Seoul was annexed. In the end, it was annexed, and this triggered the United States of America, and the United States of America flew in and nuked Pyongyang. All right, and they increased the military presence in South Korea in size. And at one point, the South Korea started to offer the United States, we want to become an American state like Hawaii. And so the South Korean destiny ended. You heard me right. It ended. I am talking about a destiny of a kind that is about to end. This is how your destiny will end. So we're talking about endgame, this mythical process, the twilight, the end of the timeline. When we talk about the end of the timeline in South Korea, we're talking about a nation dissolving into another one. That is what's happening here. So if you want to evade this, go to the other podcasts and try to figure out how to purify curses, familiar spirits, rival curse, and your dead bodies, and maybe you can evade